Mrs. Puffleduff, Part 2. So little PD, who was only sort of a toddler when Mr. Puffleduff died, starts slowly growing up, and by the time the events in this story begin, he is about about 10 years he's about 10 years old, and he is a good boy. He's very happy, and times are tough, but there's been a lot of kind of various kind of political machinations. There's a new lord up in the castle that dominates the region, but at least until before then, things had been fairly hands off with the peasants. The peasants didn't get any help from the lord, but they were able to do what they needed to do unencumbered. But this all changes as the new prince of the region takes over. This is Prince Horrorcon, who, as it turns out, though he has bedded many a woman, finds that he cannot produce an heir for himself, and that is an extremely important. It's one of the important jobs of a lord, and he well knows of the fame of Mrs. Puffleduff and her husband, and what fine physical specimens they were, and what fierce warriors they used to be before inexplicably they retired from the business and became just simple peasants, simple peasants again. And he's aware that there's this fine young boy, Petey, who like all the village loves, and they think he's just he's amazing. Even at 10, he's an amazing physical specimen. He's fast. He's the best hunter of the village. And Prince Horicon gets it into his mind, I can't have an heir of my own. I am going to take this child and adopt him, train him because he's young enough, train him to be just like me, a ruthless asshole. I'm going to take this boy, and he'll be and make him my own. So one day, while Petey is down at the watering hole, one of Prince Horicon's henchmen, who Tarton, comes upon him and rides him down, throws him over the pommel of his horse, no, the pommel, over the back of his horse, and takes him. And it's like, what the hell's going on? Because it's Mrs. Puffleduff, who's come home from doing a bit of hunting in the woods, is told by the villagers, "Oh, we saw Tartan, the henchman of Prince Horicon, ride off with your son." So she goes up to the prince's camp. He's camped not too far away, and says, I want my son back. You can't steal my son. Prince Horicon laughs at her. She strikes him, which really pisses him off, and he tells Tartan to take her and take her and take care of her, I think is the words. All the while, Petey watching this and screaming and pleading for his mother's life. But Prince Horicon and Tartan ignore this. Tartan takes her up to a cliff and is about to throw her over the cliff when as Miss Dfflpff struggles out, tries to get free of her things, and actually topples off the cliff herself and disappears into the black, because it is night. And Tartan looks over the edge. He can hear then a heavy thump onto the ground, and he says, she's been killed. Great. That's my job done, and goes off to report to his prince that this has happened. What he doesn't know is that when Miss Dfflpff fell off the cliff, she fell down and knocked a bear out of the tree. The bear smashed into the ground and was stunned into unconsciousness. She's she's able to get down from the tree. She's all her clothing is all ripped up and stuff like that. So she's basically just in, she's hardly got anything. She's got hardly anything on. Not hardly anything on. What am I going for there? She's battered and bruised and stuff like that. She manages to climb down from the tree. She kind of looks at the bear and goes, "Oh man, and it's still alive and it's breathing." So she backs away slowly, not wanting to disturb the beast. At which point she gets clubbed on the head by passing pirates who put her aboard their ship and take her off to parts unknown to be sold. And thus ends that section of that ends section 2 of Miss Puffleduff. Puffleduff. Yes. Puffleduff is Dfflpff. That ends that section of Mrs. Dfflpff, part 2 of Mrs. Dfflpff. All right. More videos later.